founder, as y'all know. Ready for the day?
Yes, sir, man.
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna be, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I see you
show up. Make you feel a whole lot better.
That's right. They coming.
I feel like you're on the right track. You know?
Yeah. It's looking good anyway.
Yeah. It always works to be done.
Right, right.
You all right, baby?
Hey, mama.
Show me the shirt. Come here.
Yeah, let's see the shirt. Let's see your shirt.
Building Bulls.
Say Building Bulls. That's right, baby. Building Bulls.
Thank you for paying attention. That's right. Oh, how you doing? Jakim Muhammad. All right, I'm the other two. All right. What is building? I think I met you before at the fashion show. That's it. That's what I'm paying attention. The 16th RD. We're the Democratic Committee for this area. So we do a lot of stuff with these. And that's right. So we do a lot of stuff.
We're glad everybody came today once again. And as y'all know, we started a program, Building Bulls, and we're trying to get young men to turn to a better step than we did, for some of us anyway. But we're trying to get teenagers within the middle school age, boys, take them on trips, get them used to seeing some things other than a negative environment.
So what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit now about Building Bulls and where that came from. See, I'm a National Geographic fan. I watch that channel all day long. So the actual title came from a show I was watching about bull elephants. On this show, they were having issues over in Africa where these elephants were just killing everything. They were killing rhinos. They were killing buffalo. They were killing each other. They were just, just killing anything they came across. And they couldn't figure out why this was happening. So what they did was they went over and they tried to study this group of elephants to find out, what was going on. And the one thing they noticed immediately, that all the elephants that were doing all the killing were bull elephants. They were male elephants, but they were young. They were the equivalent to what teenagers are now. They also noticed that within that population of elephants that were doing all the killing is that there were no fully grown adult bull elephants anywhere in that population. So they went all around Africa and they started collecting adult bull elephants from different parts of Africa. And they brought these adults that they collected and they put them back into that population of elephants that were doing all the killing. It stopped. It stopped instantly. That just made me think about us. But we're a little more complicated than elephants. Not much, but we are. But that's a parallel to what we see in our communities. We used to live by the term, I know everybody heard this, it takes a village. Everybody's heard that. Well, it actually does. And I think we, as a society, as a community of people, have sort of moved away from that. And in doing so, we left a big void in the lives of these young people coming up. What we've essentially done is we've given them life, because they didn't ask to be here. And some of these are our kids, and some of these are maybe some of our grandkids, nieces, nephews, who didn't really ask to be here. So when you do that, it's like giving... Has anybody ever played a game that they didn't know how to play? When you start out playing that game, you might have somebody there that show you a little something. Because they may show you just enough so that you can move around, but they ain't give you no strength. Well, these kids, it's more like they've been given a game and just told to play with no instruction. So what they're doing is rolling dice and moving and trying to survive those moves. And it's not fair to them that that's how they have to survive. So what I look at in our community, there are a lot of Bulls leaders in our community that we need to round up. We need to round them up, and we need to get them involved in the lives of these kids. Because we can take care of our own. I think a lot of us have been doing that. We take care of our own. And we take care of what's going on inside our house, inside our doors. And everything's fine, and we're all safe inside our doors. And we let them be out there. But we gotta open our doors, and we gotta send our kids outside. And they gotta survive that. And they gotta deal with that. And it's gonna come back to us, because if they gotta deal with it, we're gonna have to deal with it. So, by not being involved, we've sort of, in an offhanded way, helped to create divine arena. We sort of have. I mean, and one of the things that we should learn as adults, the only way to correct the problem is to acknowledge that there is a problem, and to acknowledge if there's something more that we can do. We got to acknowledge that in order to deal with this. And I think this is what Building Bulls is, a part of what Building Bulls is all about. Us acknowledging that we can do more, us trying to do more, and doing what we can. So, I also really want to stress, because we've been talking about Building Bulls, and we all know that a bull means male. But I really want to stress that there is no way that we can get any of the things done if we don't include our young ladies.
That's right.
There's no way. The world goes as our women go. That's my feeling. Now, in that elephant society, the male bull, he's out and about. He's protecting his territory. He's keeping order. He's keeping everything straight. But there's also what's called a pathfinder in that elephant family. That pathfinder is that female. That pathfinder is that lady. That pathfinder is that one who makes sure her family knows where the water is. I want people to know that although as a writer, it may be a part of my job to entertain and write something that's entertaining, but that's not the most important thing to me. The most important thing to me is that when you finish reading that book and you put it down, it stays with you. That you get something out of it. It may not be absolute truth to you, but it's a different perspective. So, I want y'all, I want whoever reads that to know that these are not just, I'm not just writing books to entertain people. I'm writing books to express things that need to be expressed, to show, like I said, different perspectives on things. And apparently this is my destiny, because I've been writing these books since 2009, and it just so happens that they pertain directly to what we're sitting here doing now. I just hope that, y'all understand the importance of why we're here, and I hope you understand the importance of y'all being here and how good it feels to see this many people come up and show up for something like this. I really don't have anything else to say myself, but if anybody does, you're welcome to this microphone.
Phenomenal Women in Interfaith Housing is funding a trip on August 29th for Killings Pond. It's for the kids It's $5 per person. It's from 9 to 5. And if anybody would be interested, you could either speak to myself or Toya and the Jeans, sir, or the chef Kia. That's Phenomenal Women and Interfaith Housing. Thank you.
I run the Foundations of Literacy program. Right now, I run it from the Rose Hill Community Center. It actually just started February. Now, the reason why I bring up Foundations of Literacy and what started that was my mother, Ariel Harrison. She started Harrison House Community Programs in 1985 out of Rosegate. It was established and moved out of a house to an actual building in 1987. And then in 1995, it was incorporated. It was the first black nonprofit organization in Newcastle City, not the county, the city. And she went through a lot trying to establish that. So she had 4 children watching her have the Harrison House Community Program grow. She established the center next door before it was sold after her passing in 2003. We all come from a root, and that root has branches. And Bulls is one branch. Foundations of Literacy is another branch. We have another young lady over there. And so the branches, we got to keep the branches spreading. And Foundations of Literacy is to help people enjoy that book.
Right.
You can't learn to appreciate the book if you don't understand what you read. If you can't comprehend what's going on in the book. And I come to find out in my statistics, I've been working in social services and community services since 1987, 2 years after I graduated from Penn. So, of course, I'm following behind my mom. You have my sisters who also followed in her footprints. And everybody, like he said, it takes a village to raise a child. Everyone has participated in raising these children, but there is no one solution. That's why there's so many branches off this tree. There is no one answer. So you use every resource you have. You network. You network. And I have come to learn in my statistics that there are more adults that are reading below a 4th grade level than there are children in elementary school. That's in Delaware alone. That's not talking about the whole country. So I said, well, you know what? We got the kids covered as far as the toddlers. Delaware got preschools from one end to the next. What we gonna do about their parents? What we gonna do about that? How we gonna teach all of that work that these preschools put into teaching the kids? It seems like it's gonna fall when it gets down, when they go back home to the parents. They gotta start all over. If the parents can't teach the kids, and how is that gonna stick? Like Eddie said, he wants people to read the book and have it stick. It can't stick if there's no one to reinforce it. We need the parents or guardians, whomever. But we know we're lacking that. So I started reaching out to children and adults. Children and adults. And they get confidential sessions. It's not expensive. No more than $5 per visit. We actually, I mean, straight up, it's no more. I fund it. I sell water ice to fund it. Anything, I don't really ask the parents or adults or children for anything. No, I know what I ask for them to do? Learn. Learn to read. When you learn to read, you will cut your legal expenses. Because you don't have to worry about, oh, I don't have the money to pay for an attorney. When you can get on the internet or find this in the library yourself and read it and interpret that law the way it's supposed to be.
That's right.
That's what Foundations of Literacy is about. It's not a program that's going to end. Oh, once you finish in 90 days, you don't. No, you're not. You got a whole life of it. I'm still learning. You're going to be learning. Law changes every single day. It will also help you understand your own government It will help you understand other children, other adults. And this is where it's missing as well. There's a lack of reading, a lack of comprehension, writing. Schools are not teaching how to write cursive anymore. How you going to get a mortgage? You going to put an X? You can't put an X there. We got laws that need to be changed, but we need that generation to start it. We can, like Eddie said, pave the way.
Every time I go grab a mic, just think I'm gonna be here for a couple hours. That's not true today. First, I want to thank Ed for inviting me out here. I've been cutting hair with him since 2002, 2003, and every time he opened his mouth, there's always something positive. I can remember back when we were cutting hair back at that time. They had 29 to 30 killings in February, and we were like really upset sitting in the barbershop trying to think of how we can help the community and try to go forward with teaching these kids other things than what they're doing. One instance stuck out to us was a young man that was cousins, and the other cousin killed the other cousin over a video game. We thought that was pretty crazy. It's your cousin, first cousin. But I decided to come and join, because anything Ed does is always on a positive note. It's always something that have to do with the community, bringing people together or that kind of sort. So I'm just here to say that Building Bulls got my attention. I was telling him that one of the things that we got through on a daily basis is we played a lot of games outside. We played tag, we played hide and go seek and those types of games. And it took all day to play those games. So by the time we wanted to get in trouble, we were tired. So I was thinking of having a community day and bringing our kids out and teaching them those games that we played. Put down the video games. There's no cell phones. We ain't have them at that time, so they were extinct. You can't bring your cell phones out, parents, because we're trying to show them how we have fun without media, because media is not fun at all. It's a lot of disruptive things on media right now, and it's taking our kids' minds. So, you know, I would love to sit and talk more about that and create that kind of day where we teach the kids what we used to do when we grew up. I wasn't allowed to play a video game. I ain't have any until I was grown, so that's all I wanted to say.
Hi, my name is Joy. I'm Ed's oldest daughter, and I'm also the owner and creator of the Mommy Connection over here in the corner. Ultimately, the Mommy Connection is a support group, pretty much, to put it in simple words. We meet up once a month and talk all things mommy related. And as my dad said, mothers, we're kind of like the mold, the piece that keeps everything in line in the family. Although the men play an important part, we're kind of, you know, like he said, we make sure everything's flowing. And sometimes that can be very overwhelming. It can be very stressful. And sometimes we need that support from other women who are dealing with the same things that, you know, we're dealing with on a regular basis. And it's best to relate with another mother that can understand those things. So we meet up once a month. We talk all things mommy, different subjects, sometimes just to get away and talk about anything. The Mommy Connection is pretty much there for that reason, for us to come together and find different answers with each other or different solutions to things that's going on today. And we want to help any way possible with the Building Bulls project, because the women are just as important in raising our children, our young men. So that's all I have for that.
I'm Jasmine, his other daughter. Just to piggyback off of what Joy says really quick, I know Building Bulls is mostly around young men, but we're also starting a project called Raising Bulls, which is about young women, and speaking and teaching about self-respect and self-confidence, which is things that I had struggled with coming up and that I'm still working on now. I started my little project with my little cousin over there just to get a little just practice, and it's working with her. So I decided to start with other young women. We're going to have weekly meetings and talk about, again, self-respect, self-confidence, how
people can view you by what you give off. So if you're giving off nothing but self-confidence, that's what they're going to give you respect. So it also starts with the young women as well. So that's all I have to say.
I wanted to say one more thing. I'm an internet guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm YouTube. My page is PLSOD 701. It simply means power, love, self, or die. When I speak of die, I'm speaking of mental death. When I get on that internet, y'all, they say some of the most worst things about black people. You hear me? I mean, about the black women, about the black men. My outlook of the black woman is she is God. You hear me? She is the beginning. So, you know, them bringing the project about the raising bulls and women respecting themselves, we have to get that to the young women, because those are going to be the ones that raise our grandbabies. They say some terrible stuff on the internet. You hear me? How they look at black people, man. It's terrible. It's terrible. But I was so glad when Ed came to me to ask me to help out with the program. Because this is something that I always wanted to do. I always wanted to be a counselor for the young men. You know, they didn't give me my shot because of some of the charges that I caught when I was young coming up. Been to jail, the whole nine. So I felt like I was a good candidate for this program, because I'm gonna really get head to head with some of these young men. I got 4 sons myself. You know, they play the game, they play the game, they play the game. But sometimes I feel like it's all right because they not out there in the street doing something other, doing some of the things that I was doing. But us as the people, we got to come together, man. I mean, the stuff I see on the internet, the shootings that I see on the internet, it's nothing but black young men. And I know y'all see it on the news. They only showing y'all just a piece of it. If you go on the internet, man, it's kids even younger than 14. They, you know what I mean? They listening to that Chicago, you know. They going hard, man. I mean, it was a young boy on there. He was like, I think he was like 11 years old. He's smoking weed. And we got to ask, where's the parents at? Where's the parents at? So I just had to get that off my chest right now. Us, we have to come together. The Building Bulls project, like Ed said, us grabbing some dudes, some guys that's maybe about 22, from 19, I would say what, 16 to 22, or even maybe a little later than that. In between those ages would be definitely a good, you know, later on as we grab the younger guys, that would be definitely a good look. So if we had anyone out here within that age range, I don't see, I might see a couple women out here, but that is very important because we need them to look at guys that ain't too much younger than them, because they see us old heads and they say, oh man, that old head, to that old head. You know, y'all know what I'm talking about. And if they too young, then they gonna say he too young, you know. But it's a must, man. I just can't help to think about the stuff that I see on that internet. Other than that, if anybody else want to speak, y'all welcome to speak freely.
Hello everybody, I'm Jimmy Parker. I'm the food guy. If y'all need food, we got food. Don't go out and spend your money on anything. Come see us first before you spend money, right Ed? All right. And with that said, I've been working in this community for the last 8 years, and I'm not supporting Ed because he's my friend. I'm supporting the kids. Just in case me and Ed has a problem, I'm still there for the kids. And that's what we got to do. Either it's about the kids or it's about your friend. And that's where we lose and drop the ball at. We support one another because our kids need to see how to support one another so they don't have games and they don't have this, because there's no separation between us, so they see there's no separation between them. We're not divided by communities. We're not divided by color. We're divided because it's good and it's evil. That's all we're divided by. But we got to start coming to each other events, support one another, because kids recognize adults. And they might be down with Ed, but they might not see Ed around James' project. They might see like Jay, but they don't see Jay around Ed's project. Now these are the same kids that are in the street, but they're looking for guidance. And like Ed said, they took the older bulls and put them in the community with the kids. Not one bull, several bulls. So if we're all doing stuff, we should each know what each one is doing so we can support one another. Because it said it takes a village to raise a child. So if we're doing this stuff individually, then we're not really a village. We're just as separated as they say we are separated. And you might not have, you might just know how to set up chairs. We could use you. You might know how to set up tables. We could use you. That's all it is showing support. Just because it hasn't reached your house yet, don't mean it's not going to reach your house. So either we could start now and start working together, or we can just keep seeing this thing happening, acting like we have nothing to do with it. We're out there at our event, whether it's raining, whether it's snowing, we are outside. Why? Because we made a promise to some people. We didn't make a promise with the weather. We never have a rain date on anything we do. Because we want you to know that we're there for you. Whether it's cold, whether it's hot, whether the weather's bad, we're there because times are bad. And we got to show up. Not talk about it. Show up. If you ain't gonna do nothing, don't show up.
Right.
If you ain't really for it, don't show up. It's okay. It's not like we don't like you because you don't show up. But kids recognize fake people. That's what they do, recognize fake people. They only show up when the cameras show up. You don't think they notice that? We got to become just as real. If it is real, then let it be real. If not, hey, go on.
Coming back, that's right. That's right.
I don't know how I got up here.
That's all good, that's right.
I wanted to speak to you guys a little bit about the books that Ed has written. So far, I've only read one, Roots Down the Drain. It was amazing. It had a crazy twist to it. The way that things came together, you'll never guess how he did it or what's about to happen. It was great. It was a good read. Y'all should really get it.